Thank you. Did everybody on the council get a chance to review the minutes from our last meeting?
Yes.
Any questions, concerns with them?
No.
Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from our October 2nd meeting?
I motion to approve the October minutes.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Okay, we do have a nice audience today. Is there any audience items that are not on the agenda that anybody would like to speak up about today? Okay. Thank you. Leslie and Jack Temmie, did I get that right?
Yes.
Yes, you have the floor, please.
So,
Go.
You can sit there, you can stand, whatever you're comfortable with.
whatever you'd like. Okay, I'll sit here. Okay, so I have been hearing rumblings around town that Doc Summer Memorial Park is going to become a dog park. And I've been the last few months looking at the Polk City website trying to find out any information to see if that's true. I couldn't find anything, and then after surveyors were out of land, I decided to contact somebody and find out if that is the case, and I found out, yes, we are talking about doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So I am here to let you know that, well, I live in Polk City. My lot backs up to, it borders the park.
Okay.
And I'm really, really not wanting a dog park there.
Okay.
The reasons are that land is gorgeous. Dog parks are usually on land that doesn't have much other function. I don't want that grass turned to mud. I don't want a giant fence around the place. I just don't think a dog park belongs right next to a neighborhood or right next to homes. I've looked, when I was researching all this, I looked up dog parks in our area, and I read a lot of the rules. The main rules that stuck out to me, number one, which I didn't like, children under 10 are not allowed. Another rule is people have to stay there with their dog, and I don't think people realize that. The few people I've talked to that are not opposed to the dog park think they can leave their dogs in the park and go home. My husband canvassed, talked to people in the neighborhood that border the park, so I'll let him talk to you about it, and then I'll come back and give you some ideas of what I envision the park should be.
Thank you.
Okay, I visited all the neighbors that back up to the park on Roosevelt and Washington, 801 and 813 Washington, and then Victor Brown at 706 Tyler, and Jim Smith, who is here tonight. Sorry, Jim, to put you on the spot. At 814 Phillips. I visited with each of them, and the overwhelming majority opinion on a dog park there was a no. Absolutely not. That's all the property owners.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? We wish, and most of them said if they had known about the dog park, or the talk of the dog park, we would have been down here sooner, you know. And they're all willing to come down and talk to you people if it goes that far. But overwhelmingly, no dog park.
I have a question, sir.
Yes.
Just numbers. How many people are on that list?
Well, good question. I visited with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Okay, thank you.
All the people all the people whose property adjacent that park, I talked to,
Yes, I confirm that.
okay?
Yep,
I'm
thank you.
sorry, I have one more question. I know you keep coming back. Would you say that their reasons for opposing it are very similar to what we heard already, or would there be any additions to the list? Heard a little bit.
Well, Dave and Deb Heisekamp at 617 Roosevelt were just outraged because they didn't hear any rumors about the dog park. And she just went. And her reason is they have 10 grandkids. And when those kids come over and visit, she said we get settled in, and the next thing we do is we go to the park to have a good time and play games, etc. And that was the concern of everybody, just no access, put a fence around, no access to it.
Thank you.
Anything else?
If I may, my name is Dave DeVarks. I'm the council liaison on City Council. First of all, I want to thank everybody for coming out because really do listen. You guys pack the house. But I think I know this whole notion of the dog park was somebody that came in on one of the nights we were having parks meetings, brought it up, and we're like, you know what, that's not a bad idea. So let's look at that option, and let's see where that goes. Now, that's been a few months ago. So that's not set in stone. I mean, we asked basically for a conceptual plan, and then we're going to, this is what we want. We want to see what the neighbors wanted to see if this was an option, right? It's not set in stone. We're having a dog park there, period.
Okay.
So I want to just nip that. So anybody here that's saying, hey, no dog park, we get it. We're simply, that was one of the recommendations. I'm completely fine with having it stay the way it is. We've put a considerable amount of money in that park already.
Yes.
And it looks really nice.
Yes.
So certainly if the neighbors are against having it, I think I can go on the record with saying the council has always been supportive of those that are around those areas and not doing things that would be obstructive to your lifestyles. So
I can't remember if it was a September meeting, but I think I had asked if we were to the point where the idea had been brought to the neighbors. So you actually have done some of that work already. So in conversation last week, or maybe it was the month before, we were talking about, well, we need to see what the community members that live kind of around there. You guys remember that conversation? So we weren't quite there yet. Probably could have done that in the last month. Of course, just gone and done what you did and canvassed especially before it got super cold. But yeah, I concur with what Dave said. If it's not what we're looking for there, then we can keep thinking about how to make it a usable park. I love the fact to hear that the couple that you interviewed said their grandchildren go over and play there all the time because so many people didn't know it was a park. So, although the signage helped.
Kids are always over there. People are in the park walking their dogs. Because we live at 609, which is right across from where the bench is. So we can see the whole park all the time.
May I ask, excuse me, seeing that a lot of you are here tonight, if you could have any upgrade to that park being done other than the dog park, do you have anything in mind that you would like to see there besides just green space?
I have.
That is she has a
Right
suggestion.
here, this is what was supposed to be done to start with.
She has a suggestion, and
I
then
have.
there's other things.
Sure. Yeah. Don't have enough room. Not all on the website.
Maybe that's take that.
So we need a park in our neighborhood that we're proud of, that can be a real asset to our city. And I would like to see it become something like Altoona's Enabling Garden. The Enabling Garden is a partnership between the city and the Polk County Master Gardeners. It's a play area for kids. It's also a learning area for kids and for adults. It was started in 2002, and it's always in a work in progress, and it's on 2 acres of land. It's handicap accessible. It's beautiful. It's got flowers, bushes, trees. Most of those items are marked so that you can see what, if you like something, you can see what they are. The park has sculptures. It has raised vegetable beds, raised compost area. It's got rain barrels. It's got a shelter for classes, for weddings. People use it for pictures. There's fairy garden area. There's children's garden that have musical instruments that they've made, and they've got all kinds of interaction items for kids. It's a wonderful place. So it would be nice if you guys would go look at that or visit some of those websites. It's the I feel like our whole school district would use it for learning for the kids. And the Master Gardeners have classes and they're on various things, on trees, on vegetables. It's awesome place. And the Doc Simmer Memorial Park is beautiful, so that would just add to it.
No, I like the recommendation.
Yeah.
So if I could add one other thing about the budgeting, we've noticed the growth that's happening around town, and parks that are also around town, and if we had unlimited funds, these types of things could happen. Somebody would donate $1 million, we'll put it in a second. The most difficult part is allocating the money to the different areas that are, now parks that have nothing on them, that need to have the trails and the infrastructure type items on there. So just knowing that this probably would be a pretty large step, there's going to be, steps that we'll take to get there. And I saw a plan that maybe put up, ma'am, that was something that we had just put together to say, hey, this is like the most grandiose plan we could have, but it's feasibly not something that will happen. Because we have 6 other parks around us that they also need attention.
Why do you have to do everything at once? Can't you just
We are.
time?
That we are.
Nothing's been done up there.
And
So over the last,
I know.
let's just say over the last at least 2 years I've been on here, the parks were put aside for some other improvements throughout the city, and the council is now truly making a focus on the parks. And we can go, we've reviewed as a commission kind of our wish list, and we've talked through the Simmer Park, Lost Lakes, 12 Oaks, the one opposite of Leonard, I'm sorry?
The linear park.
The linear park. So we're not going to be able to do them all at once, but we're trying to put kind of an outline of what we'd like to see. And the initial plan is there. We've received feedback from other residents that they're wanting a dog park. And now we're receiving more feedback from everybody in here that that's not the direction we want to go. So this is going to continue to evolve as we, come to exactly what we want to put in each of our parks. We don't want to put the same stuff in every park. So we're really trying to make a focus on making them different. So really over in 12 Oaks, it was really going to be kind of a walking path around the pond, maybe eventually a shelter. It was going to be a 2 to 3 phase approach. Over in Lost Lake, they're looking at putting a playground in there. We were considering kind of a similar walking path with the shelter in Doc Simmer, went to the dog park. Now maybe we'll look at something more along this route as we continue to get feedback from everybody. So really, all we're to the point is kind of getting some conceptual plans, getting ideas, what the costs would be, how we can spend the funds that the council has graciously, told us, we're going to put extra money into the parks this year. And so we're trying to figure out what those best options are. And I think it's pretty clear. Just one moment, please. At least from where I'm sitting, that's not the direction that we want to go with this. And so we'll continue to have those conversations within our meetings and within council as well to determine what the best direction is. I'm sorry, go ahead.
How are you determining which park is being used for what kind of park? How are those stations?
They're being had here within the council. We've last calendar year, might have gone into some of this year, we went and visited a number of the parks and held our meetings at the individual parks to kind of get an idea of what's out there, what would work good, how easy would it be to build infrastructure into there. Dock Simmer, it's kind of back a little bit, might be a little bit more difficult. Lost Lake needs a lot of tiling and different types of work. There's work that needs to be done around the pond over there. So we went and visited all the parks to kind of get an idea of what we think would really fit well. And then we brought all those ideas back and we had 2 or 3 meetings where we sat down and kind of talked through what our wish list is. Our wish list was grandiose and we've kind of narrowed it down to have a more realistic expectations financially and feasibility within the park. And so that's kind of how we've approached them.
And proximity to other, like some parks have playground equipment. So if there's one nearby, does the next one nearby have a different feature that we could have besides just, big play structure stuff too? Like that's why 12 Oaks is relatively close to Marina Cove Park.
Mm-hmm.
And we weren't thinking about doing another set of playground equipment there because that's super expensive too.
Are you considering playground at Dock Simmer Park?
We had in the past looked at some pictures of some. Do you guys remember the natural colored?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
the renderings. I can't remember what month those were, but where they had like earth colored play areas for kids, not just big slides and stuff like that. And I can't remember. Did we get bids on those estimates? I can't remember that.
So that was, if we could have everything, what you have is what we would have.
Would be awesome.
We would love to have everything. I mean,
I don't expect everything.
I know you don't know, and I'm not saying that. I'm just
Yeah.
saying if we go from the top down, it does have to be a phased approach, and absolutely will look at every part to say where do we want it to be at the end, and then how can we get there feasibly, and also being fair to all the communities or all the other subdivisions that are going up as well.
There are a lot of children up there that do them.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I absolutely, the demographics of this town have changed to 38 average age, right? Younger than me as well. So it's not to say that that's not going to ever be an option. It's just that we have to cater to those that are not only currently here, but then are coming in and that we have dedicated parkland for. We have to connect the trails. We have to do a lot of different things to make sure that everybody benefits and also those that are surrounding the areas. But to answer your question, ma'am, if we had more people come to the parks meetings, it would make our job a lot easier for your input as well. And those meetings are also available either online to watch or to look at the minutes so to see what we've discussed. And if there's questions or any concerns or suggestions, we would love to have that here every month because it would make we're giving our best suggestions based on the information that we have and the people that live around that area. So you've addressed the dog park situation pretty widely at this point, pretty candidly. So okay, we need to relook at that.
And
so,
ma'am, can I get for the minutes? Can we get your name and address for the minutes, please? Both of you.
I'm Susan. And
I'm Shay Moran.
His wife and granddaughter, Allison.
grandmother and granddaughter.
Mr. Anderson?
I just want to say when the question was asked how this was arrived at, I can't remember how many years ago, there was a joint meeting hosted by the Park Commission and the City Council, attended by probably 40 or 50 people, accepting ideas, getting ideas of what we want to do with the parks. I don't know if any of you guys, do you remember how long ago that was? At least 2 years ago. And one of the main things that came out of that I took away from those meetings was the people of Polk City, the question was asked, would you like to take all the money and put it in one large park? And it was overwhelming no. They wanted neighborhood parks, small neighborhood parks. We've been struggling for years to come up with money for parks. This year we found $250,000 that we're using, and most of it will go just for the infrastructure parks. Water, so you can have drinking fountains for the kids, shower houses if we ever decide to have them, restrooms if we ever decide to have them, that sort of thing. That's where most of the money's going this year. Correct?
Trails, again, connecting.
And as far as it being a dog park, and I've been on this council for quite a while, as far as I know, there hasn't been an official vote from the Parks Commission or for the City Council to make that done.
Conceptual is all. It's just
It's
been
not set,
conceptual.
Correct.
It's absolutely not set.
It's conceptual, similar to the other plan. It's just kind of, let's get an idea, let's see what the cost would be associated with it, what infrastructure would be needed, if anything needed to be done to the land. All of that's what we've asked for at this point.
Well, I don't know, you know who I am. I sold the city of the park for the land. And if I had known that it was even going to be considered a dog park,
Then we're not, and we appreciate that greatly.
Yeah.
If the fact that it was brought up as we could have said, hey, we're going to put a water tower on it. No. I mean, if that would be the same analogy, that's not going to happen. And the fact that you guys don't want that, and we purchased it from you, I think we appreciate that. We put another at least $35,000 into it, maybe more, maybe 40, but we really tried to make it usable.
Charge you much for it.
I'm not saying you did.
Okay.
No, and I'm not being disingenuous by saying these things. I'm just simply saying that we are investing in that to make it a place for grandkids to go to and to set the stage for future upgrades, whatever those upgrades may be.
I think there was something over.
Where is Lost Lake Playground? Which one is that?
Just past the Lutheran Church, the new development.
Oh, okay.
I bet. That's what they would call Lost Lake.
It's just a triangle right now that it's just grass
It-
right now.
Borders up against Broadway as you leave out of town.
Can we,
They're all up toward Walsall.
can we look at maybe, there's not a lot of money to invest right now, maybe a couple picnic tables?
Those are absolutely
Okay.
things that we would, because that facilitates people using it. And we don't want a place that people use. So instead of, we would absolutely substitute.
But we live right there, so we see the use.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
there are a lot of people using that park. There are kids out there playing golf. There's whole ball teams out there. There are people out there, I think it's neighbors with all the grandkids playing Frisbee and just throwing Frisbees at that tree and that bench. And there's a kid out there that's been out there a lot just with a little net trying to catch bugs and butterflies. It's got a lot of use. People throw balls for the dogs.
I think you'll be very happy with because there's money allocated for the park, and if the dog park, which sounds, again, it's conceptual, if we can add those two amenities, be it picnic tables, benches, those types of things, I mean, that's not going to be a problem. I mean, those things are relatively, especially we can get, those things are somewhat easy to do as well. So we worked on drainage. We just worked on, Randy's crews put a bunch of time in making it available
Yes,
for
they
people
have.
to see. So we appreciate that.
They have.
Ken looks like he's waiting at the
I'd
jump.
like to make a comment. My name is Ken Morris, 1308 West Side Drive. I just as a reminder, Polk City does not have a parks park. We have a group of volunteers, the Parks Mission. And with the focus on neighborhood parks rather than the one great big park that everybody didn't want, it's fairly obvious that the local neighbors that are directly affected have have a very high vested interest in their neighborhood park. You much more so than any of the other parks around town. And I would encourage the neighbors that are most directly affected to consider maybe somehow coming up with some fundraising idea or something and coming to the Parks Commission to say, we have money and you can't go out and buy the playground equipment because it's got to be approved. But I'm fairly confident if the neighbors came forward and said, we've had a fundraiser and we've got some ideas and we've got money, because that keeps coming up, it would be very welcomely received down here and could get developed quicker. And the people that are doing it have the highest degree of benefit. I wouldn't expect you to donate to a park in another part of town, but if it's in your neighborhood and it's in your backyard, what an opportunity to have an extreme sense of direction and
And to Ken's point, the square had new equipment that were bought in, and that went through council very quickly because somebody did donate a majority of the funds to it. So, then the other thing I would add is, as much as we love seeing you guys here, continue to come, but you can review the minutes, and as Dave said, the video and the agendas. Our meetings are the first Monday, and we do put out there as much information as we can, address, if we're looking at different conceptual plans or what it might be, and, take a look at those. And we'd love to have you guys come on a regular basis. Is it safe to assume most everybody here is from that area of town? Nod of heads. Okay. What do you expect?
You want a show of hands?
I think we got the nod of heads, so most everybody. Yep. Mr. Anderson?
I just saying I live there.
Yep.
Yeah, you're a neighbor. Yeah.
I can throw a rock to that park.
Yep. Well, you could have.
Good when I was younger.
Any other comments or anything anybody wants to add? Again, thank you, everybody. We appreciate this feedback, and we will definitely, as we continue to move forward on what direction to go, it's very clear that the neighborhood doesn't want the dog park, so we'll continue to evaluate and use some other conceptual plans to get some other ideas. Good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks,
everybody.
Thank you.
Ken, tree board.
I really enjoy your company, but I've actually got input this time. Phil and I, my right-hand man with the Arbor League, we wrapped and tended to all the trees over the weekend at Kiwanis Park Sports Complex, Lakeside Linear Park on Parker Boulevard, and Leonard Park. Most of the trees are well. I met with Mike and Randy this morning, and we've got some trees that, for a variety of different reasons, need to be removed and may or may not be replaced. And it depends on where they're at, but it was clearly decisions made by the tree board recommended this morning. They've got the list, and there's some trees that just have outlived their usefulness.
Is that some of the ones that were down at Kiwanis Park? I saw some got removed today.
There's some holes down.
That was great.
That's impressive. They met this morning and they already
Put
pulled
the snow
them.
plows on or get the trees out, so.
That was quick. We talked about it this morning. That's my report.
Thank you, Ken.
You're welcome.
Dave, council, anything to?
I think I've talked way too much tonight. Trying to think from the last council meeting. Wait, I don't have anything else other than appreciate audience coming in and for your volunteering and your comments and your buy-in to everything that we do. And you've seen tonight that, sometimes we have to face some decisions, even though they're not completely done, but we have to reevaluate, and we're not always spot on, that. None of us are, but certainly it's good to have the input. So thanks for taking it as you have and asking good questions, and we'll just regroup.
Sounds good. Thanks, Dave. Staff.
I don't have anything. I wanted to add to what Ken said and say thank you to Ken for all the hard work he's done at Westside Park. He puts a lot of time and effort into that park, and I'm a neighbor over there and observing what you do there, and I want to say thank you for that.
You're welcome. There's more to come.
Oh, cool.
I don't know if you guys seen his park, but it's Westside Park, but
It's West
you
Side
could
Drive.
subtitle it.
Call it
I know. Park the Kenville.
If you build it, they will come.
Mhm. All right, Randy, Public Works.
I don't have much to add. We finished winterizing the concession stand this morning, so all the parks, whatever had fountains that are winterized, and the bathrooms are closed. So yeah, the parks are put to bed.
Thank you. Anybody on the commission have anything for today? All right, can I get a motion to adjourn till our next meeting on December 4th?
I will motion.
In a second? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Have a good evening, everybody.
Thank you.
They just shove it all under here.
I don't know my daughter.